If you're that person that is the go-to for everybody in your life, your family, your friends are all coming to you for advice. They have the problems and you have the solution. And now you're thinking, man, I should really become a life coach. This episode will be for you if that is something you've ever considered. Today, we have a little one on one where I talk to you about what a life coach actually is and how you become one right after this. What is mindset? Our mindset is based on what we believe, and anything we believe in, we put into motion. I have spent my life putting the mindset of perseverance into motion, and now I am here today to share my journey along with others whose mindsets have changed the course of their lives. Hi, I'm mindset coach Lorraine Lindsey, and I believe that if you can change your mind, you have the power to change your life. So are you ready? Welcome back to another episode of the Lorraine Lindsey podcast. We are all about mindset here, where we believe that if you can change your mind, you have the power to change your life. I am your host, certified life coach, mindset coach, and peak performance coach, Lorraine Lindsey. If you are looking for information to get a hold of me, you can reach me at www.coachlorrainelindsey.com, or you can find me on any of the social media handles. I'm all Coach Lorraine Lindsey. Today, I wanted to kind of tap in a little bit and talk to you all one-on-one about what it is to become a life coach. I am a coach. I've been a coach since 2014. And I get this question a lot. A lot of people will see what I'm doing on social media or even with clients that I have that have made some radical shifts in their life. They want to give back. They see the power of coaching and they too want to become coaches. And so part of my coaching is to coach people how to become coaches. So I want to get right into it, get this content out there. I won't take up too much time today, but I do want to talk about this for people who are interested. So first thing is first, what is a life coach? So a life coach is a professional who works with individuals to help them identify and achieve personal and professional goals. Life coaching is a collaborative and client-centered approach that focuses on the present and future, aiming to empower clients to make positive changes in various aspects of their life. So that is basically what a life coach is by definition. The way that I kind of like to break down coaching is every human being, in my opinion, is like a beautiful piece of marble. Like Michelangelo, there's a quote, and I'm not quoting verbatim, but one of the things that the legendary Michelangelo would say when he was doing his sculptures was that he just chiseled away, but the art was inside the marble. And I feel that way when I'm coaching clients. Sometimes in life, you're this big hunk of marble and there's this beautiful thing, this potential that you need to give birth to. And so for me, my job and my responsibility is to provide my clients with the tools, the chisels, to kind of break those barriers, those borders, those things that are holding them back so they can unearth and see that beautiful sculpture that's within. And whether that is for love or it is to change mindset or, the list goes on and on depending on what kind of coach you are. But essentially that is what a life coach is. And we'll go into the difference between therapy, counselors, and coaches and what the difference are with those things. All right. So what are some of the things that life coaches do? I promise you one of the things they don't do is they don't tell you what to do. There are plans in motion. People are not receptive to being told what to do. And even if in a session you're telling them what to do, it usually doesn't work. It's not effective if they are not seeing for themselves that they're capable of doing those things. And so a couple of things that coaches help people with. Number one is some goal setting, right? They're helping clients to articulate and define their goals, both short-term and long-term. Goals are a very important part of coaching. Along with setting goals and getting clear visions, the other thing is to create actions. You can have a goal, but without some form of action or a plan to obtain that goal, it's kind of useless, right? And also, too, a guide to coaching is a lot like giving someone a plan that's an effective plan. I mean, people have ideas and goals in their mind, and sometimes they're feeling like they're not getting anywhere because their plan isn't effective. And so as a coach, we help to kind of clean that up and get them clarity to create a plan that's an effective one, that's attainable. Like you're going in the wrong direction, turn around, it's time to go in this direction, that kind of thing. The next thing that a life coach does for a lot of people is accountability. And this is important, right? Holding clients accountable for their commitments and progress and fostering a sense of responsibility. Accountability is your power. I tell my clients this all the time. You know, a lot of people spend a good portion of their time blaming other people, talking about this person did this, my family was like this, I grew up like this, I didn't have this. And it's so blame, blame, blame. But if you can be accountable to your life and say, where am I right now? What are the decisions I'm making for my life right now in this moment? And what can I do moving forward, regardless of the external circumstances and the people that are around me? So accountability is super important. Another thing that we do as coaches is support and guidance. We provide support, encouragement, and guidance as clients navigate challenges and obstacles. One of the things for me personally when I'm coaching people is to really, really tap into mindset. And what do I mean by that? I mean, what are the limiting belief systems? So often when I first meet a client and we're first talking, I let them unpack their bag, so to speak. It's like they just kind of dump and they just unload. And as they're unpacking the bag, I'm listening for limiting beliefs, verbal cues, things that they say about themselves. Where do they place themselves in the stories of their lives? Are they the victim, the villain? Are they victorious? Where do they thrive? Where do they have setbacks? I'm looking for all of these things so I can kind of organize those things that they've just unpacked to really, really figure out where do we need to start. And so when you're going through the process, when your client is going through the process, when you're looking to shift and change, it means you're also interrupting patterns, certain things that you've been doing time and time again. And for a lot of clients, it's very uncomfortable because it's something that they're not familiar with. And so being that guide, letting them know that they're doing a good job, helping them along the process is a big part of being a coach. Skill development. This is really, really fun part of coaching, in my opinion. And I'm going to talk about this later, but why coaching is not about just sitting with someone and having a conversation. It's about really taking responsibility to learn trades and things that you do so you can develop people's skills. So assisting clients in developing the skills and mindset necessary for personal professional growth. Again, later in this thing, we're going to talk about niching down. Like, what is your niche when it comes to coaching, and really honing in and learning how to provide people with tools and equipping them with things that give them actionable results. And so skill development is very important for people to actually have growth that they can attribute to their coaching. Self-reflection. Self-reflection is encouraging self-reflection to increase self-awareness and clarity about values, strength, and areas of improvement. And this kind of goes hand in hand with accountability. You know, in one sense, you got to help your client to be accountable to certain things, but also to reflect on things, both good and bad, positive and negative, so they can really see and bring it to the forefront of their mind in order for them to get that clear vision so that those plans that you're helping them create can feel attainable to them. And finally, mindset shifts, helping clients to identify and challenge limiting beliefs, fostering a positive and growth-oriented mindset. Again, I'm a mindset coach. This is a little biased from me, but there is a specific mindset that people have when they're stuck. And sometimes they are not aware of what that mindset is. There is the obvious thing, sometimes I call it the elephant in the room. But when you start to peel back some of the layers, sometimes there are things and limiting beliefs that they didn't even realize that they had. And so part of helping them shift those mindsets is getting them to see those things that have been holding them back. So, all right, that was a little long-winded. I kind of rushed through that, but that is basically essentially what a life coach does. So if you're still thinking, yeah, this is what I want to do, okay, let's move on. All right, so the next thing I want to do is I want to kind of tap into self-reflection. So self-reflection, assess your own life experience, skills, and passions, and consider areas where you have expertise and genuine desire. So what do I mean by this? Okay, we talked about your client doing some self-reflection, but if you're really, truly, truly have a desire and you feel a passion towards helping others navigate through obstacles in their life, I think the very first step that you should take before you jump into that is to do your own personal self-reflection. There was a time in my life that I was going through many, many things, relationship problems. I had some trauma bonds in my life. I had pathology and things that were happening through my childhood that were traumatic that made me um, or created poor decision making in my life, I should say. And before I could, in my opinion, go into the space of coaching other people, I really had to reflect on where I was in my life and what I was doing to try to forge ahead. And so for me personally, I took on coaches. I went to therapy, I did counseling, I went to programs and workshops, and I did a lot of my work. And through that, there was some discovery of how I could be a coach, why I wanted to be a coach, and what were the things that were effective that I could tweak and make it work for my clients. And so I feel like self reflection is something that is very, very imperative before you decide to be a coach. I mean, really dig deep and ask yourself, well, why do I really want to do this? What is the intention? And I can assure you that the idea that you're everybody's problem solver will burn you out very quickly in this business if that is what you think is the reason why you want to be a coach. The next thing is education and training. Acquire the necessary education and training. While formal education is not always required, many life coaches pursue certifications or complete training programs from accredited coaching organizations. The world of life coaching is not regulated. You're not licensed to do this thing called life coaching. So there isn't any mandatory training that you have to take on to call yourself a life coach. Um, and for me personally, and this is just my personal opinion, I feel like you're doing a disservice to people that you're coaching if you're not giving space to be educated and to be training. And the reason why I say that is because you're going to meet clients that need psychological help. They're going to have clients that have clinical depression or clinical issues that require levels of care that is higher than you just listening to what they're saying. You know, with coaching, it's about being able to see a person in their present state, where they're at now, and helping them to move forward. And some of those people need to do the old deep work where they need to really touch into their childhood and their traumas and things that they've gone through. And they need therapy for that. And so I feel like when you get more educated and more training, you're able to pick up on those cues when clients may need referral work to someone else before they come to you. All right, the next thing is to choose a niche. And this is, to me, the hardest part of coaching. So define your coaching niche or niche, however you like to say it. Specializing in a particular area, such as career coaching, wellness coaching, relationship coaching, can help you stand out and and attract a specific clientele. Okay, so this part of coaching was very, very difficult for me in the beginning because I thought I could help everybody and I wanted to help everybody. So if they had a relationship problem, if they were trying to be physically fit, I was training to be in fitness at the time. If they wanted sales coaching because I was really good in sales, I mean, I thought that I could help people with everything. It is very, very important to niche down what it is you are going to be coaching. And I wrote a couple things down. When you're thinking about coaching somebody and what type of coach you're going to be, number one, you should ask yourself, who who should I be coaching? Like really think about that. When people come to talk to you, what are they talking to you about? And when you're sharing that information, how much of an expert are you through that? And what I mean by expert doesn't necessarily mean you've read 100 books about it, but books paired with classes, paired with life experiences. And would you be able to guide them through that thing? And do you feel very passionate about guiding them? You know, when I started my career earlier on, I started as a relationship coach. And everybody wanted to come to me with their relationship problems. But the reality was, number one, I was a hot mess in my relationship world personally. And I was going through things. And it doesn't mean, I'm not suggesting that if you haven't mastered your life that you can't coach somebody. But I found that it was incredibly draining for me. I found that it was a distraction and I couldn't shake it. And I didn't feel pulled to it, and it was very emotionally draining. So I realized that wasn't the thing. I want to coach, but that wasn't the thing. Um, Another thing is to really say, okay, if I'm going to do this thing, can I effectively create a plan for people? I always tell people who want to do coaching is ask your friends. There is who you think you are, okay? And then there is the reality of what people perceive you to be. And I am personally very guilty of that. If there's a thread, if there's a common thread that people are saying about you, both good and bad, and it may not be what you think about yourself, know that you need to kind of tap into that because that's people's experience. And you can ask your friends, like, if I were to do a workshop, what would you want me to talk about? If I were a life coach, where would you see that I could be a coach? You can coach anything. You could be a coach on how to do arts and crafts. You could be a coach on weight loss. You could be a coach on, let's say you had a medical thing that you went through and you're coaching people how to handle the emotional side of that. There are so many different things, but it's really tapping in and peeling back the layers. I do a coaching class on this. So if it's something that you are interested in, please go to my website because it's a lot. It's very extensive to really narrow down your niche and to really understand that this is what I'm going to be coaching on. And by the way, the more you narrow it down, the more profitable you can be, the more you can market your business, the more you can have your demographic of people. It really helps to niche down what you're coaching. All right, moving on. Gain experience. And it kind of goes back to what I was talking about. Gain practical experience. Offer pro bono or discounted sessions to friends and family, or volunteer for coaching opportunities. This will help you refine your skills and build a portfolio. This is imperative if you are really, truly dedicated to being a coach. I started off my coaching business for free. I would have little get-togethers at my house where I would do these coaching sessions for people as a group. I would coach people one-on-one quite often and people that were just friends and family, and I would have to tweak it. Because I'll tell you what, if you're talking to a stranger and you don't know what you're doing, you're going to feel very inadequate, you're going to be nervous, and they're not going to come back. I can assure you that because I've gone through that as well. So allow yourself permission to really learn the experience the way that a coach would do it, with a real plan of action in motion. All right, certification. Again, being a certified coach is not mandatory in this world of coaching. However, for me personally, I feel like it is something really, really, really important to do. I feel like it's a responsibility because it shows that you are educating and learning. So certification, consider obtaining certification. Again, it's not mandatory, but having a recognized certification from a reputable coaching organization, I put International Coach Federation, can enhance your credibility. I have been certified back in 2014 through an institute, a certified accredited program. I went further with that and trained in NLP and strategic intervention. My biggest certification that I ever had was through the Tony Robbins organization. It was a full-on immersion course where I was there 4 days, 13 to 16 hours a day, learning, diving in and really sharpening my coaching skills from the greatest life coach, right, that's out there, the very first life coach, which is Tony Robbins. And I can tell you, just having that accreditation when I go to do speaking events, when I am on other podcasts, when people hear that I am certified in that way, it gets people to listen just a little bit more. Not only that, but the skill set that I got from these programs are, they're invaluable. They really, truly are. And again, I take my coaching very, very seriously. And I feel like I have a responsibility, any client that I have, to make sure that I am equipped to give them the coaching that they need. All right. The next thing is website and branding. Oh, I call this the thorn in my side because when you have an idea to have a business, okay, coaching is a business. It is an independent business. Or at least I thought that, okay, everybody comes to me with their problems and I'm going to have them still come to me when I'm a coach. The difference is they don't want to pay you to do it. They want to come to you for free advice. And so really tapping into building a brand, understanding marketing, creating a website so people can find you, and knowing how to book things like receiving income. I remember I had a situation where I built this big workshop and I had all these people that I thought were going to come. And they did, and there was a list, and I had no merchant account set up to take payments. I didn't even have the program set up. I just got ambitious and put it out there, and I didn't know what I was doing. I put the cart before the horse. And so I had to kind of scale back. I had to cancel it, and I lost clients because of that. So really tying into building a website, understanding what your niche is so you can create that brand, so you can properly market yourself out there. Again, when in the beginning, when you're doing that pro bono, some of those people won't want to pay you. If you're my friend, I don't want to pay you to coach. And sometimes, you can't coach people that are too close to home. You know too much about their narrative. You're too personally intertwined. And so you're going to gain a lot of your business from strangers and them really tapping into that niche and wanting your specific coaching. All right, legal considerations. Address legal considerations. Determine the legal structure of your coaching practice. Set up a business entity if necessary, and understand any legal requirements or regulations in your area. Again, this is something that's very important with business, and it was a lot of trial and error for me. So if you can learn these things now, it'll save you a lot of time and money. Again, you're not a therapist, you're not licensed, and some coaches will operate as such. And you do not want to take on the responsibility of taking on a coaching client that needed help in other ways. And God forbid they take their lives or they do something, crazy, and then you're liable because you were operating and acting as though you were a therapist. Another thing too is understand your rules. What does it cost for cancellations? What is your refund policy? How do you protect yourself? For every client that I coach, as a protection for myself and for that client, I have everyone sign a non-disclosure so they know that everything they discuss with me is confidential. So I have it legally drafted where they sign and I sign so that they know that what they share with me is private, provided it's not going to hurt or harm somebody else. So definitely something to look into is the legal consideration. And this is all the business side of being a coach. And again, when people say, I want to be a life coach, I feel like it's very important that you understand that it is a business. And if you want to thrive and really monetize this, you need to understand the business side of running that business. And it can be very, very lucrative. People will pay you if you know your stuff and you have tools. All right, developing coaching packages. Define your coaching packages and pricing structure. Decide on the duration and format of your sessions and establish a clear fee structure. Again, this is stuff that I wish I would have known in the beginning. And this is stuff that I've had to learn over time through education, talking to other business people, of really understanding these are my packages, these are my prices, end of story. Because a lot of times you'll have people that will want to negotiate those prices. You are adding value to their life. And if you're confident in the value that you're adding to them, then you won't waive your prices or give discounts. I do things like one-on-one sessions. I realize that one-on-one sessions take a lot of emotional energy from me. So I limit how many one-on-ones. I love doing workshops. So I have a package created and a program and a pricing for those. There's online, and that's a separate type of cost. And then I do a bulk package. So if someone says, you know what, I want to commit to 6 weeks or 6 months or whatever it is, I do offer specific packages that they can choose from. So these packages are already established that said, if you do 10 coaching sessions, you'll get 2 complimentary. So you're only being charged for 8. But my packages are very, very, very specific. All right, moving on. Market yourself. Again, this goes into knowing your niche, really dialing in, branding yourself. Marketing yourself is super important. For me, my marketing has become, I've used marketing with social media. I have a podcast that was part of me kind of branching off and doing something else. Obviously, you're watching the podcast. But I started off as a coach. The podcast was a concept I had when there was COVID. And as time evolved, the show got better and better. I came to a beautiful studio. If you want to know the studio and you're in Vegas, I'll link it in the thing for you too if you're considering that. But just finding different avenues and ways for me to get people to hear what my mission statement is, so to speak. And again, you hear me say it in the beginning of every show. It's the mindset. If you can change your mind, you have the power to change your life. That is what I coach. That is my niche. That is what I have created programs with. And so when I'm on the podcast and I'm showing clips on my social media, there's always the undertone of mindset. I'm always talking to people who have changed their mindset. I do that on all of my social media platforms, which every platform has the same handle. And then also too, I have a website. I have other ways of getting out and reaching people. I do events. I talk to people. I speak. So you really want to know how to market yourself. I also do something like one-on-one sessions. So before, excuse me, consultations. So before I actually sit down and take money from a client and coach them, I always set up a consultation. Number one, I want to know that they are prepared and ready for coaching, that they don't need other help. Also, too, it's a good way for me to be a salesperson, right? To close the deal. And so I set the expectation. I give them the ideas of what I'm going to do. And that's part of marketing yourself. When you're sitting down and talking to someone, you're booking an appointment. The whole idea is that you get more appointments from them. And so you really want to get good at marketing yourself, knowing who you are, knowing what your brand is, knowing what you stand for, and really, really getting good at giving your clients what the results will be and making that believable. But if if you're going to make it believable, you better have your plan in motion to get it done. All right. So client relationships. Establish effective client relationships. Develop strong communication skills, active listening, empathy to connect with and understand your clients. One of the first things that I learned in my coaching class when I was first getting certified was the complete opposite of what I thought coaching was going to be. I thought that I was going to sit with people and they were going to tell me what's going on. And I was going to go, oh, no, you need to get rid of him. Or, oh, yo, you need to do this. Oh, you need to do that. No, 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 no. What I learned was that I am going to listen more and speak a lot less, which was very difficult for me because I love to talk. And so really understanding empathy. There are clients that I have had that have circumstances in their life that are mind-blowing to me. But I have to be empathetic, right? And understand what's emotionally happening to them, what's the dynamic, instead of judging them or coming on too harsh or telling them what they need to do. A lot of what I do is, this is what I heard you say. Did I get that right? Tell me more. That's usually what I'm saying in a lot of coaching sessions as I'm listening to them. When people feel like you are actively listening and that they're being heard and you're validating who they are, but also keeping them accountable and keeping them, keeping it real, they really, really appreciate that and trust you as a coach. And I think that your communication skills are super, super important, but the way you communicate will dictate how well you've listened to them. And so client relationships are everything because they refer other clients to you and they keep coming back. For me personally, my goal is always to have an end in mind for my clients. To say, okay, if we're meeting once a week, let's get you to a point where you've learned enough skill sets that maybe you just need to check in every other week or maybe every month or maybe every few months. I don't want to see a lifelong client sticking with me. I want them to be able to exceed in their life and move forward where they don't need me. And so understanding your clients and building those relationships are essential to that plan being effective. And lastly, continuous learning. Commit to continuous learning. Stay updated on coaching methodologies, attend workshops, and seek ongoing professional development to refine and expand your skills. I am clear that I am a mindset coach. So because that is my niche, I listen to podcasts on mindset. I read all kinds of books on psychology and mindset. I'm big in my coaching on patterns, habits, a lot of things that we have going on in our lives and where we're at in our lives is because we are stuck to a pattern that we have created personality traits. And so I really, really study people who speak a lot about that so I can do a better job of refining what I'm doing and how I'm coaching people so they understand this is my pattern. This pattern's attached to this habit. This habit is causing these outcomes for my life. And so I study everything like crazy on that. So if you have a niche, then you can really fine tune what you're continuing to learn. And it's an ever going thing. And it's a responsibility that you have to your clients. So I hope that these things that I have shared with you are some helpful tips and tools if you are considering to be a life coach. Again, I do one-on-one coaching on this. I do workshops on this stuff. So where we go really, really into detail. We break all this stuff down. And so if that is something that you're interested in doing, again, hit me up, reach out to me, excuse me. I am doing a vision board workshop at the end of the year. Everyone always makes these New Year's resolutions. And I have decided to hand select some expert coaches who I think will be dynamic people to talk about love and relationships, to talk about health and wellness, to talk about your mindset when it comes to money. Sometimes we're not broke because we don't have money. Sometimes we're broke because we don't have the mindset for money. It is all about really tapping in and getting you to get your mindset ready for the new year, to create those resolutions that are everlasting. And these hosts or these speakers, as well as myself, are going to equip you with tools that you need to really, really get positive effects in your life. And we actually are going to offer after the class a follow-up where we check in and we see how you're doing. And if you've fallen off track, we're going to help you get back on track. So if that sounds like something that you would really like to look into, again, you can go to my website. It is on Eventbrite, but it is the 2024 Vision Board Life Coach Guided Vision Board Party. I hope to see you all there. There are limited seating. We just went on sale yesterday. We've got an early bird sale, but people are buying tickets. I'm happy to see that. But if you can come, I'd love for you to come. And if you stayed this long to listen to me, please do not forget to hit the subscription button, give me the thumbs up, and send us your comments. More topics. I need to hear what you want to hear from me. And until next time, thank you for tuning in. And I look forward to all those new life coaches out there. Ciao.